All right, here's that moment of truth. I think I forgot to put my lights on. I did. I forgot. Here, let me fix that up real quick. Here we go. There we go. All right. Okay. Brightens it up a little bit, huh? What's up, everybody? What's up? Sorry about the awkward me. Yeah, I'm like, I think my lights are on. I'm like, no, it's just daytime. Your lights aren't on. Your lights are not on. But whatever. We do what we can here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the patron stream. This is the stream where I respond directly to the patrons, and that's kind of how we do things here. I'm seeing it live. Everything's looking good, and that's great, guys. You probably know this already. I'll get some announcements out of the way first. Yes, we are completely demonetized on YouTube. Channel's going through some transitions. I'm working on changing that and getting it remonetized. But in the meantime, we are completely demonetized, which is hurting the channel significantly. And a lot of you have reached out. A lot of you have been emailing me about it and stuff like that, which I really appreciate it. If you are on stable ground financially and want to support the show, the best way to do it is to become a patron. For those of you checking this out live, patreon.com/Ron Placone. I do not have tiers on my Patreon. My Patreon is a give what you can level. So whatever you're comfortable with, that's it. And you all get the same stuff. So you get the patron stream once a week. The replay of this is only available on Patreon. You get a patron Zoom show once a week, a show I do just for the patrons. And I'm making theme songs for people. Some of you have asked, like, well, how much do I have to give for my own theme song? It's a give what you can level. All you have to do is become a patron. And then there's only one other step. You have to ask me. You have to make sure, I have to know that you for sure want one. Because not every patron wants a theme song, which is okay. You don't have to want one. But if you do want one, I want to make one for you. So you just have to ask me on Patreon once you join. And that's it. That's all it takes to get your own theme song. It does not cost more. So Patreon is the best way to support the show. Other ways to support this show on the sustainability end, for those of you who are on stable ground, joining Rockfin. You can join Rockfin, endorse me, endorse this channel. Rockfin is a crypto creator-owned platform, or creator, like kind of collaboratively owned by creators, where the crypto gets distributed, and that's a great platform. So you could sign up for Rockfin, then you get all of my content ad-free completely. I guess it's all ad-free at the moment anyway, but Rockfin is an alternative platform to YouTube. And so you can check that out and endorse my channel, Ron Placone. The Jimmy Dore Show is on Rockfin. Graham Elwood is on Rockfin. Lee Camp is on Rockfin. Who else? The Convo Couch is on Rockfin. Nico House is on Rockfin. There's a lot of creators on Rockfin. Steve and Slow News Day and the Action for Assange folks, they're all on Rockfin. Good times. Anyway, okay. Tina Desiree Berg is on Rockfin, which, by the way, our philosophy podcast is coming. I'm real excited about that. Let's see here. So that's going on. Let me go to, someone mentioned that they just heard me on Political Misfits. Yeah, I just came off of there. Bob and, Jamal used to be on that show. He's not anymore. But it's Bob. And I don't know if Bob has a permanent co-host or if it's rotating co-host. But Bob does a good show. I have a lot of fun doing segments with him. I'm not, radio's an interesting animal because it's super timed. You got to hit those outs, and I'm just doing it over the phone, so I don't know exactly when those outs are. I'm just kind of guessing. So I don't know. Hopefully, I don't go over or anything like that. Radio is its own animal. It really is. But anyway, thanks for being here. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the patron stream where I respond directly from the patrons. I got to share this. Guys, and I'm looking for Lucy because this is a Lucy centric segment. I don't know where she is. But she's running around somewhere, or realistically she might be taking a nap. Lucy, here, let's see if it's worth a shot. Lucy, come here. Come here. She might come. She knows when I'm doing this that, like, I'm doing this. So she knows, like, if I call her, she's not going to get anything right away. Like, she's like, you're not going to play with me or give me a treat because you're doing that thing where you talk to that black thing. That it's like, that's a webcam, Lucy. Yeah, I don't care what it is. I just know, like, that's what you do. Anyway, but check this out. Let me scroll up to the headline. Cat guides injured walker to safety after he got lost in the Swiss Alps. So this guy was hiking in the Swiss Alps. He was near this village, and he got lost. And this cat led him back down to the village. Now, it turns out the cat belonged to a couple who runs a local youth hostel in town, or a local hostel. It might not be a youth hostel. You know, hostels. It's a subculture, and many hostels are open to all ages. And it's a subculture I actually enjoy. I love staying at hostels. I've always enjoyed it. When Graham and I were touring Australia and we had some time in Sydney, we had a few days in Sydney, and Graham had been to Sydney before. So all he wanted to do was go surfing in Bondi Beach every day, which I get. But I had never been to Sydney before, and I was like, well, I kind of want to spend some time in the city. So he got a little Airbnb in Bondi Beach, and I stayed in a youth hostel in Sydney. And it was really cool. I made some friends. You know, I wasn't sure. I was like, am I gonna make any friends? Because I'm like, I'm not like 20 anymore. You know, I used to, when I would do that in my 20s and stuff, you'd always meet people, you'd hit the bars with people. But, I'm like, I'm just kind of I'm a little older than that now. I don't know if like, if the new generation would necessarily want to hang out with me. I'm a generation past, but you see people of all ages, and I was not the youngest person there, but I was not the oldest either. And, I really do love that, subculture. So there might be a day in my life where I am the oldest, and, that'll be okay. Because my buddy Tim Carroll puts it best. You can't stay young, but you can stay cool. And you can always be young at heart. But anyway, this is about cats, and I'm babbling about hostels. So the cat belongs to a couple who runs a hostel in town. And the cat, which, here, let me see if they say anything about the cat. They don't say a ton. Oh, okay, so the cat's female. And it later became apparent the cat belonged to a couple who owned a nearby hostel. Not a youth hostel, just a hostel. So here, check out this video. Look at how cool this is. This will make your heart melt, folks. So there's the cat.
Ez a bacska, jött, az elkezdett nekem itt miáuzgatni, és ha elindulok, ő meg jön utánam. Ó, de édes vagy élő. Oh, you're nice. You're beautiful.
So when cats do that, they're happy, by the way. When they do like the whole rolling around on the thing and they're like their belly's in the air, that means they're happy. So the cat is content, and the cat likes this dude. So the cat's like, hey, I like you. I'm going to lead you to safety. So here we go.
Yeah, yes, you would. Okay.
Look at that. Like the cat's hurting him. Isn't that cool? Like the cat looked to make sure.
Tudjak hazamenni? Yeah. Okay,
and he knows, like you see what he's saying here. You read the subtitles.
Hey, kitty. Hey.
Now the cat's just like, that was the cat's way. Like, all right, so you're following me, but just so you know, we're going at my pace. All right. So you just kind of follow me. I'm just kind of, if there's something I want to smell, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to lead you to safety. Okay. So here we go. Look, isn't this cool? How cool?
Lányokat keresed, yeah? Vagy férfiakat, nem tudom, milyen kitty vagy.
That is a cool cat. That's a tuxedo cat. So that's basically what goes down. This cat, and the cat sneezed, and he said, God bless you to the cat. And the cat leads this guy back to the village. The guy's taking the video. Cat comes across a dead mouse, but bails on it. Check it out. The cat bailed on the dead mouse because the cat was like, look, I'd like to bat this thing around for an hour, but you got to get your shit together, buddy. You're lost in the Alps, and I got to get you to safety. So I got to take care of this, and then I'll worry about everything else. This is so. We'll watch a little more of this. We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but
Na? Ó, basszus. Jössz utána? Jössz? Igen? Okay. Let's go down to the river to pray.
This dude's singing songs because he's like, I'm lost in the Alps and I'm depending on a cat to get me down. I better
Most
sing a
egyébként
song.
le a Gimmelwaldból. Azt írják, zárva van ez az út, de nem tudom milyen, mert tök jó.
Now he's trying to blame the signs for him getting lost. It's like, no, buddy, he just got lost. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Nincs kajám. Hát van, de nem macskának való kaja, érted? Ja, hát ilyen az élet. Sajnálom. Sajtot nem igen tudsz enni. A paradicsomt, meg almát, meg banánt, meg nem adom. Na jó, vezess az utat. Yeah?
I like that. Show me the way home. By the way, I'm not feeding you. But kudos to that guy for trusting the cat, and kudos to that cat. That cat's awesome. Hopefully, that cat got a lot of treats when she returned. Pretty sure the cat's a female cat, but yeah. And I'd imagine it's clearly that's a very social cat, as you would expect if that cat lives in a hostel. You know, if a cat lives in a hostel and the cat is not social, that's going to be a miserable life for a cat. But if the cat is social, that's got to be the best. You got humans coming and going all the time who just give you all kinds of love and attention. How could Lucy would love a freaking hostel? Lucy would love that. She'd be like, look at all these people here to see me. No, they're here to see the city, actually, Lucy, but they'll pet you. No, they're here to see me. Why are they leaving? They're going to see the sights, Lucy. Some of them might go see Hollywood. I guess I'm assuming my hostel is in LA where I live. Then some of them might get lost in the mountains. Who knows? And you might have to rescue them. Actually, no, we're not in the Swiss Alps. You won't have to do that. You're an indoor kitty. But yeah, Lucy would love that. Maybe I should turn my apartment into a hostel. We could be a very small hostel. We could have like 2 folks at a time. But how cool is that? That is cool. Kudos to that cat. And I'm glad the guy got led to safety. Lucy says me out of this story. She does. All right. So let's see what y'all are saying. Podcast by George. We'll start with you. Gyno, GYNOWR, inexpensive gaslight detector. So letters to get your news on with Ron. I like to think of it as gyno wide receiver. Get your news on with Ron. A gynecologist who's also a wide receiver. That's how you remember it. But I like that. Edwin, what's up, buddy? Edwin, if you haven't seen this documentary about Tower Records, I recommend taking a look. Thanks, Ron. Thank you, Edwin. I'm always looking for some cool documentaries. Let's see this. We're not going to watch it right now, but let's see what this is all about. You're saying it's just right over on the YouTubes, and it is. And it's called All Things Must Pass. Huh. You know, I'll be honest with you. I haven't even heard about this documentary, but it's called All Things Must Pass. It's about Tower Records, and I will watch that. Thank you very much for the suggestion, Edwin. I appreciate that very much. Let's see here. Chris, what's up, buddy? Chris, you shared this opinion column from the Fresno Bee, and you say that, see what you're saying here. The mental gymnastics right-wing trolls do when it comes to their love of big corporations, yet they want government to censor them when it hurts their fascist feelings, ? Shake my damn head. It's pathetic that Nunes, oh yeah, Devin Nunes, that guy's something, cares more about talking to trolls online than having a forum or town hall in District 22. That's where he's at. He has not had an open debate in over a decade. And then you say this fake farmer is a coward. Is he a fake farmer? I didn't know that about. I don't know a ton about Devin Nunes other than he's embarrassed himself on Twitter a bunch of freaking times. But I didn't. He said he was a farmer, or I didn't know the fake farmer thing. I'm not hip to that. I don't know what that refers to. I'm not a fan of the guy, still not. But yeah, I don't. How does one be a fake? Well, I guess you claim you grow food that you don't actually grow. I'm a farmer. What do you grow? The best stuff. Like what? Well, can I come by and see your farm? It's more a farm of the mind, really. That's the kind of farm I have. It's a mind farm. What the hell is that? It's like, you kind of, you ever see that movie Hook, the Peter Pan thing, where they're having an imaginary food fight, and then all of a sudden it turns into real food. I do that. I'm like, this radish is the best, and then it just appears. I call bullshit. I don't think that actually happens. They were in Neverland, first of all, so they at least their fantasy has a little bit of bearing of, well, that's plausible. In Neverland, some weird shit goes down. You can like make food out of nothing, and you can be a lost boy, which I don't know why didn't they didn't have lost girls, although that sounds really terrible, doesn't it? Lost girls, that doesn't sound okay. But lost boys, that just sounds fine. That just sounds like a cool group in Peter Pan, It's weird why that is. Although it could just be because Lost Boys has become part of the vernacular because it is in the Peter Pan story. And Devin Nunes, not Neverland. That's the main thesis here. But yeah, why weren't there lost people? I don't know why. That's probably why everyone really geeked out when Wendy showed up. Remember that? Like Wendy showed up and Peter Pan was like, dude, she's mine. I mean, they'd never seen a girl, so they couldn't handle it. In many ways, Peter Pan is a horrifying story. In many ways, there's actual pirates who want to fuck with you all the time. There's no adults on this island that you live on. There's pirates who want to kill you all the time. There's no women, and then all of a sudden a woman gets lost and she's there, or a girl, really. I mean, she's very young, and these lost, they don't know how to handle their shit. Like it's a woman. They don't know what to do, and they just want her to be their mom because they just have no clue what the hell is going on. That's intense. And then Peter's like, no, I want some romance out of this. It's actually, it's kind of terrifying. That'd be a weird, I mean, you think it's like, well, you can make food out of thin air. That's pretty cool, but I don't know, man. I feel like the cons still outweigh the pros. I would not rent in Neverland if I could. I really wouldn't. Like, well, the crime rate is just sort of weird because it just depends on whether or not they stop these pirates. But then there was the natives who were there. There was Tiger Lily, so there were other women there. But for some reason, why didn't they all just team up? Like, why didn't they just help each other out? Why was there segregation in Neverland? Why did that happen? I mean, they liked Tiger Lily. They all got along. Why didn't they just all live together? Why were they like, yeah, you guys, yeah, we got our Lost Boys thing going. We don't want to cross-pollinate anything here. That's wrong. I mean, why? I don't know. You'd think that in their youthful open minds, they'd be okay with, just living with other humans. I think it's very weird. All right, so that's weird. Yeah, Devin Nunes. He not in Neverland. That's the main thesis here. Poor Devin Nunes. So this is an opinion column that Chris shares. Poor Devin Nunes, Fresno congressman, is being censored by big tech, and it's so unfair. Poor Devin Nunes. So I think this is sarcastic. The congressman of California is being silenced. He and other like-minded no longer have the means. Republicans have no way to communicate, Nunes growls. Nunes made this comment during a televised interview with Fox News. More than 2 million people watching. Okay, so he's upset that he's not allowed to. I didn't know he got censored on Twitter, but yeah. So I guess he got censored on Twitter too. Let's see. Nunes investigate private businesses. Yeah, it's so interesting. And Chris, you bring up the hypocrisies that you see in here, where People love to say, oh, they're a private company. They're a private company. Yet you're complaining about being censored. Well, which is it? If they're a private company, they have the right to do that. And you're all about, the free market and corporations' rights and stuff like that. Yet you don't want them to censor you. You can't really have it both ways. And now you see people on the left who parrot that same thing when the person being censored is somebody they don't like. And the missing of the mark on this issue is it's amazing. It really is. I mean, you see people on all sides calling for online censorship. They don't really realize what they're asking for. And then recently, you even heard AOC saying, oh, we're going to have a commission to deal with media. Here's a solution. Okay, first of all, with the social media thing, here's the solution. The solution is not to gut Section 230. The solution is to make new policies that addresses the issues. And what's a really easy fix for all this? Make social media platforms follow the free speech laws of the United States. Best way to do that would be to make them public utilities, to nationalize them. That's the best way to do it. So the solutions are out there, but nobody wants to actually do that, because that would involve breaking up big tech a little bit. That would involve some antitrust, and nobody wants to do that because they like the donor money, baby. They like the donor money. The other thing, if the government wants to really get involved in media, you know what you should do? You know how you do that? You have a board, an elected board that is government funded, that oversees how the media works and how the media operates. And it's subsidized. So you know what you do? And I tweeted this. Make it illegal to have advertising on news and information. You want to talk about disinformation? You want to talk about the government trying to combat disinformation? How about you end the business model that guarantees disinformation on a daily basis? What's that business model? A business model that allows oil companies and weapons manufacturers to advertise on cable news. They're buying influence. They're not trying to sell a product. Nobody watching cable news is in the market for a new tank, or doesn't know that if they don't put gasoline in their car, it doesn't go. They don't need to advertise what they offer. They're buying influence. They're buying silence on what's going on with the environment. They're buying silence the destruction the United States causes around the world. So you want to talk about the government stepping in on disinformation? Start with the head of the snake. In other countries, the media structure we have in the United States is illegal, and for good frickin' reason. So you want to get involved in media, make it illegal here. You want to find an example of what to do? Look at frickin' Norway. Because that's what they have in Norway. They have a board that oversees the media and assures freedom of the press. And when they say freedom of the press, they don't just mean anyone can just say whatever they want. They mean that journalists operate free from prosecution. Yes, that's part of it. Another part of it is freedom for the consumers of media. People know who funds the news outlets that they're looking at. Advertising is I think it's pretty much banned. You can't have commercials on news and information programming in Norway. It's instead subsidized. It's subsidized by tax dollars, and that is overseen by an elected board. So it's not like the government just funds outlets and then the government does whatever they want and the people who have no say. There's a board. There's a board that consists of media makers, that consists of journalists, that consists of academics, that consists of experts in these fields, of scholars in these fields. And that's why when you look at a press freedom index that's worth a damn, not some of the CIA-fronted ones that involve people like Adam Schiff, but a real press freedom index, and they're out there. Norway, number one. The United States, we're about 50th. I think we should be lower. I think 50 is too high. We should be a lot lower. But, yeah, so anyway. So, yeah, the disconnect is stifling. And you bring up a very good point there, Chris. Thank you very much. Nina, what's up, Nina? How are you? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good weekend. Hope all is great up in Canada. Yeah. And here's what you share. In the desperately seeking some good news department, I like that department. And we did that earlier. The cat story was some good news. A cat let a dude out of a mountain. That's some good news. My throat's really dry today. I know it's drinking on mic is a little annoying, and I apologize for it. But my throat is very dry today, and I just did a radio segment right before signing on to this Political Misfits. Some of you guys caught it, which I appreciate that. And yeah, so I apologize for that. But my throat's a little dry today. I played some songs on the Patreon Zoom yesterday, which, by the way, for anyone catching this live, patreon.com/Ron Placone. You can catch a Zoom show with me every week. I work on new material. I go through some jokes. I play some new songs I'm working on. It's a fun time. But anyway, Nina, in the desperately seeking some good news department, Hempcrete. Ooh, that'd be a good band name, too. So Hempcrete is much greener than concrete, along with it. So I'm guessing this is like a concrete-like substance, but made from hemp. Man. All right, let's go to the link that you shared here, because Hempcrete would also be a great band name. But let's check this out. Of hemp's many uses, one of the most promising could be in construction. Side note here, I've been really trying to get somebody who, what are those? Oh, man, I always forget what they're called. What are those houses called they're like zero waste houses? They're space. I wanted to say spaceships, but that's clearly not what they're called. They're those houses. They're made from zero waste, and they're house ships or so. Man, all right, I'm going to the chat because I know one of you knows what they're called, and I cannot think of. You know what? I can just Google it, I guess. Let's see. Zero waste houses name. Let's see. Not coming. Tiny homes. That's not what I'm talking about. Zero waste home. That's not. No, there's a name for them. They're called like house ships or like space house or some kind of. This is gonna bug me. Earth ship. Thank you. Sven. Well, a bunch of you did it. I'm sorry. Nina, thank you. Derek, thank you. And anyone else I'm missing, thank you. Sven, thank you. Yes, Earth ship. Thank you. That was going to bug me for the entire freaking stream. Earth ship. Say it 5 times. I'm going to write it down because I've been trying to have an Earth ship person on the show. I've been in touch with a couple, or I've been in touch with one mainly, but they're kind of not. They're not super hip to like going on shows, I guess. Anyway, all right, but let's get back to what Nina's talking about here. Of hemp's many uses, one of the most promising could be in construction. Hempcrete, so it's made from the woody core of hemp, is showing promise as an environmentally friendly building material. There's so much. Hemp can do so freaking much. And yet, because of an archaic drug war at the behest of Big Pharma, it all goes under the radar. And whenever you talk about this stuff, people are just like, oh, you're just a hippie, blah, blah, blah. No, it's freaking... I mean, I am a hippie, but... I mean, whenever someone throws that at me, I can't deflect it. You know what I mean? Like when I'm like, hemp is so useful, they're like, yeah, okay, hippie. And I'm like, look, don't make this about that, all right? All right, you can call me whatever you want, and I will think of that as I'm on my way to my local farmer's market. And I'm going to drop off the compost at the community garden next door. And the rest of my compost goes to my friend Ken because he can accept citrus. And the community garden in my neighborhood does not accept citrus. So I have 2 different compost bags in my freezer at any given time. One for Ken that involves citrus. One for the community garden that does not involve citrus. And yes, I can't really deflect the hippie thing, I guess is what I'm saying. I can't deflect that. I'll embrace that. But nonetheless, hemp, still useful. And I am actually bringing compost to my farmer's market after this stream. You guys know on Fridays I go to my farmer's market. That's part of the reason why this stream, I used to do the patron stream at noon my time, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. and I'm trying to do it a little earlier so I can get to my farmer's market earlier so I don't miss out on anything. And my wife is switching up her schedule, so she's going to be off on Fridays soon. So that's exciting. Anyway, yeah. So hemp could be used in construction. This is hempcrete. It's made from the woody core of hemp and is showing promise as an environmentally friendly building material. Man, I would love to have an Earthship. I don't know where the hell I'd put it. And I know they're not cheap. And can you get really killer internet in these Earthships? This is why I need to have someone on the show who does them. And I want to do that. If you know any Earthship makers, can you have them email me? I really want that. So if you know anybody, please turn them on to Get Your News On with Ron, or Gyno Wide Receiver, as it's commonly referred to sometimes. All right. It has become, let me read some of this article by Nate Berg. I don't know anything about Nate Berg, but he wrote this article. It has become almost a cliche to discuss the benefits of hemp. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. People make it out like it is a cliche, but it's like, yeah, but what if hemp's so great, how about we start using it on a mass level? Why do you have to roll your eyes at people like there's some cliche? Because it is useful. You can call us hippies if you want. Most of us are. Call me a hippie. Call me a hippie. By the way, I don't have shoes on right now. I am barefoot right now. Oh, and I do all my shows barefoot these days because at a comedy club, I can't be barefoot. But now that I'm just like doing Zoom shows from my living room, I can be freaking barefoot. And I like that. That's one thing I do like. I miss live performance to death. It is hurting my soul to not be able to be on the road. You guys know that. You hear me complain about it all the time. But one, you look for silver linings. Silver lining about the Zoom shows, I get to be barefoot. I get to tell my jokes and play my tunes barefoot. That's fun. I like that. Anyway, it has become almost a cliche to discuss the benefits of hemp, the supposed wonder plant with almost endless uses, from woven fibers to edible seeds to bioplastics. Of course, hemp is that magic crop that does everything, says Nicholas Carter. Maybe I should just get Nicholas Carter on the show. Nicholas Carter, so he's an environmental researcher. Plant-based data is his website. All right, so and they're up in Toronto. I like Toronto, wonderful. So let me see if Nicholas Carter. I'm gonna write that down. Wasn't that also a Backstreet Boy? Wonder if it's the same guy. Nick Carter is like a boy band person, right? You can tell I'm really hip to boy bands. Isn't that a boy band person, Nick Carter? Boy band enthusiast. Someone's saying Michael Reynolds is the person. I don't know. I don't know who that is. Somebody turned on and tweeted me about an academic who really dissects fascism, and it looked incredibly interesting. But I lost the tweet. So if you know what I'm referring to, if you are that person, please email me. You wanted to turn me on to an academic who really dissects fascism and talks about how fascism is rearing its way in the United States, and more than that, how fascism is actually ingrained in the United States and has been for a very, very long time. I checked that out when it was initially sent to me, and I was like, that does look interesting. I do want to have that guy on the show. But then I lost it. So if you're that person, please email me. Go to ronplacone.com and email me. That way I won't lose it. Please email me, ronplacone.com. There's a contact button. Hit it. Fill out that form. It goes directly to me, and then I will be able to file it accordingly. So, because I do remember it. So thank you for that. And some of you guys are saying... is that Michael? Let's see. Now I do have pants on, by the way. Someone's saying I don't have pants on. Nope, I do have pants on. The anatomy. Oh, I think someone just shared it with me. Professor Paxton, The Anatomy of Fascism. All right, I gotta write that down. Paxton, email me anyway. It can't hurt. I mean, it's the more freaking like brain nudges I get, the better. That's why, like, sometimes when people are like, hey, I emailed you and you never got back. I'm like, well, when did you eat? Like, it was months ago. I was like, well, you could have nudged me again. It's okay. Like sometimes, yeah. Anyway, Professor Paxton, Anatomy of Fascism, which would be a pretty cool band name. Anatomy of Fascism. Hempcrete, much better band name, but Anatomy of Fascism, I would take it. I would take that. I would take that band name. All right, so let's go back to this article here. So they're saying that they can make hempcrete, and this could be, check this out. So here's the picture of it. Dude, it totally just looks like concrete. Honestly, it looks like concrete made out of pot, and then they dyed it gray. Isn't that like exactly what this looks like? It's pot dyed gray, and then they made concrete out of it. I would totally live in a house like this. Although, admittedly, I would probably smoke more because I'd be like, everything's making me think of pot. I'm going to smoke it. So hempcrete, guys. Hempcrete is a material mixed with a binder that hardens it into a solid in the form of blocks and panels. Made from the dry woody core of hemp stalks and a lime-based binder, hempcrete can be just like concrete, can be cast just like concrete. But unlike concrete and its binding cement, which account for about 8% of human-generated carbon dioxide emissions annually, hempcrete actually sequesters CO2. Hempcrete can sequester 307 kilograms of CO2 per cubic meter, roughly the equivalent of the annual carbon emissions of 3 refrigerators. So it's way better for the environment. And quite frankly, I don't mean to sound shallow here, but it looks a hell of a lot cooler. It's way better for the environment. It uses hemp, and it's a hell of a lot cooler. I'm sold. Sign me up, Nina. Sign me up. I want hempcrete on my Earth ship. And we just need to make sure there's good Wi-Fi. I would totally do that. I don't know if I like the idea. Someone described it well. They're saying like, yeah, your house would be like a plant. Your house would breathe like a plant. Does it ever just give you guys pause? And I'm sure the answer is yes. I think I'm asking a very rhetorical question, but doesn't it just give you pause where you think about how much freaking better we could be doing as a society? I mean, it should give you pause. It should give you frustration. At times, it should drive you nuts. Drives me nuts sometimes. Like, you're just like, what the hell? We could have houses that breathe like fucking plants. We could have, whenever someone says, oh, I don't know how we're going to help the environment, we could have houses that are totally sustainable. We could have earth ships. We could have hempcrete. We could do all this. We could do all of this. It should piss you off. It should also inspire you a little bit to try to make the world better. But God, But it definitely it should piss you off. If it doesn't piss you off, you're asleep. You know what I mean? But, you gotta keep a little bit of positivity there. And it should also make you feel like, you know what? We can do better. And it's time to start doing better. It's just, all of us here, none of us have any power. That's part of the problem. It's just like, well, a bunch of powerless people realize we can do better. If only there were some people with power that got on board with some of this shit, then that'd be cool. But and this kind of ties into what I was talking with Bob just a short minute ago on the radio segment I did with him. It's amazing. People with money and power, and not everybody, but most of the time, they're so insanely disconnected. And I was talking about this with Bob. I'm like, dude, really rich, they could just hire somebody. They could just hire somebody who knows about things like hempcrete, who knows about things like earth ships, who knows about things like shower of hope, you know what I mean? Somebody who's just in touch with the needs of regular people and the needs of our freaking planet. Somebody who's really rich could just hire that person. They could just hire them, give them a salary, and just say, okay, your job, I'm an out of touch, super rich person who lives in an ivory tower and has no fucking clue. I have no fucking clue. And, whatever. That's just how it goes. but I'm going to hire you and give you a salary, and your job is to just make the world a better place. You look at stuff like earth chips, you look at stuff like hempcrete, you look at stuff like municipal broadband, you look at stuff like net neutrality, you look at stuff like mutual aid and helping your neighbor and feeding the poor and shower of hope and community gardens that are co-ops. I'm looking at Jim right now. And you just say, yeah, just use resources that I'm going to provide to you and make the world a better place. You get a full-time salary. This is a full-time job. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay you great for it. And you just make the world a better place. Yeah. If I'm ever a rich man, I will do that. I doubt I will ever be able to do that in my lifetime, but if for some reason I ever am, if for some reason lefty comedy combined with reworking of protest songs from the 30s becomes mainstream, if that ever becomes mainstream, first of all, you'll all be able to say we were here first, and I promise you, I will hire a person to do what I just described. I will, if I ever have the means to do that, I promise you all, I will do that. I highly doubt it will ever happen, but never say never. I will hire that person. Then once a year, you just tell them what you did. You just take the disconnected rich person. You just tell them what you did. You just tell them what you did. I mean, any rich person, they could just do that. Nothing's stopping them from doing that. But instead, they just do these ridiculous things because other corporate entities have their ear. So they're like, oh, yeah, here, help out my nonprofit. It's a nonprofit that helps people in Haiti, except only about 1% of the resources we raise actually goes to help people in Haiti. The other 99% just pads our pockets. That's why it's so infuriating when you see a really rich person helping out something like Susan G. Komen or something like that. Because it's like, no, these are scams. These are scams where rich people are just making themselves richer. And I'd like to think some of these disconnected people, their heart's in the right place. I'd like to think that. Is it or isn't it? I don't know, man. I can't do a moral survey on everybody in the world. None of us can. But I'd like to think their hearts are in the right place. They just honestly don't know any better. Not because they're not intelligent people, but because they're really rich and they're freaking disconnected. That's what happens. So I promise you, folks, if I ever get to be rich and disconnected, I'll hire somebody to make sure I don't become a problem. But anyway, so thank you for that, Nina. That is good news, and that is really hempcrete. I didn't know about it. I didn't know about hempcrete. Now I do, and I'm gonna try to start a band and call it hempcrete, so that we can make that happen. You know, more people be like hempcrete. Well, it's actually a thing. I want an earth chip made of hempcrete. That's what I want. I don't know if I could ever live rurally. I can't even say it. So of course I can't do it if I can't say it. You know, I like being a city guy. I really do. Although right now it doesn't make a difference because everything's, you know, the world's kind of shut down. But overall, I like being a city guy. I like living in a place where I can look at the concert listings and make a list of shit I want to go to. And if I lived in the middle of nowhere, I couldn't really do that. But man, if I could get like an earth ship with really good Wi-Fi and hempcrete, I think I'd figure it out. I don't know. I think I would try to make that happen. So anyway, guys, let me say my thank yous and then do the dismount here. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, George. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Edwin, for this week's topics. And I look forward to checking out that documentary, Edwin. And thank you to all of you for tuning in, guys. Again, we are completely demonetized on YouTube. You guys have been asking me about that. We're going through a transition at the channel. I'm trying to get that fixed. But it's going to take a minute, and it may never get remonetized. I don't know. And if it doesn't, you know, I'm still going to do my thing. It's just, it's very important to, you know, that other means do fund this show. That's just the reality of it. So if you are on stable ground and you are interested and you are catching this live, patreon.com/Ron Placone. That is the best way to support this show on the sustainability end. And my Patreon does not have tiers. It only is one tier, and it's give what you can. So even if you only got, if you're like, gee, I'm on stable ground financially, and but I don't have a lot to spare, but I could spare $1 a month. That's great. Believe it or not, $1 a month actually goes a long way. So, if you got a little bit to spare, whatever it may be, please do join. Don't think that the amount is too small. It's not. Even a little bit of a month, a little bit of a month. A little bit a month goes a long way. And you get all kinds of cool stuff. You get the replay of this stream. If you missed the cat story earlier, got to be a patron. So you get the replay of this stream. It does broadcast live to everybody, but then the replay is only available on Patreon. I do a patron Zoom show once a week, and I'm making theme songs for people. And there's a bunch of other dialogues that between myself and Lucy that are written out that haven't become full cat comics yet. There is stand-up clips not available anywhere else. There's podcasts not available anywhere else. And you get to download my album in its entirety for a Give What You Can level. So please do consider it. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. Another great way to support the show. Rockfin. You can join Rockfin. That's a crypto platform. I'm on it. Graham's on it. Jimmy's on it. Lee Camp's on it. Dave Anthony from The Dollop is on it. Who else is on it? Convo Couch is on it. Nico House is on it. Tara Devlin is on it. It's a great platform. I like Rockfin a lot. I'm going to start streaming there more soon. But you can get all my content there, and it's ad-free. So you can sign up for Rockfin and endorse my channel. Oh, Richard Medhurst is on Rockfin. You can endorse my channel, Ron Placone. Hardlens Media is on Rockfin. Krish Moen's on Rockfin. To anyone I'm forgetting, I apologize. But anyway, yeah, endorse my channel, Ron Placone, on Rockfin. That's another great way to support the show on the sustainability end. And if you're strapped for cash, if you're on hard times, I totally get it. Don't worry about it. There's a ton of great ways to support this show for free. You can like these videos, share these videos, subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you double check because they unsubscribe people all the time. And share it on your Twitter, share it on your Facebook. That goes a long way. And that's stuff you can do to help out this show. And don't just do it for me. Do it for all the content creators you know and love. And guys, so again, thank you, Chris. Thank you, George. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Edwin. If you're the person that emailed me about that fascist academic, not the academic who is the fascist, the academic who studies fascism, please email me about that. And similarly, ronplacone.com, best way to email me. And if you know anyone who does earth chips that's really willing to come on this show, please email me about that as well. I want an earth chip person, and I want a hempcrete person. That's all on the list. And guys, thank you so much. This has been the patron stream. We'll be back. Get Your News On with Ron will be back on Monday. We're going to be talking to Melissa Michelson, an activist here in LA who's trying to stop a development from happening. She was also in DC during the Capitol debacle, and she's going to be talking about her experience in DC. And on Tuesday, we're going to have a guy named Chase Roper on the show. Now, Chase is a Comcast whistleblower. He's actually a comic in the Northwest, but his day job, he worked for Comcast, and he quit his job and blew the whistle on them for saying that their Internet Essentials program is actually taking advantage of customers. His tweet went viral, and he's been covered in the Wall Street Journal and in the New York Times, I believe. We're going to have him on the show Tuesday to talk about what exactly is going on with Comcast, why he blew the whistle. I'm really excited to talk to this guy. And for the municipal broadband mission of this show, that's a big that's a big piece. That's a big piece. So I can't wait to talk to this guy. I reached out to him as soon as I saw his tweet. I retweeted him as soon as I saw his tweet. And we have some mutual friends because I used to live up in Seattle, and I was I was doing comedy when I lived in Seattle. So we have some mutual friends. So I had a mutual friend put me in touch with him. He's going to do the show Tuesday, and I can't wait to talk to that guy. Anyway, you know the drill. I'll see you all next week. And also on the municipal broadband front, I also have some good news. You may have seen already, but Melissa, a patron and friend of the show, she got on a neighborhood commission up where she lives in Vermont, and she's going to push in for municipal broadband. I'm going to be sending her some resources via email shortly, And so that's some exciting news. The municipal broadband world is making some leeway. We're starting off 2021 running. And I'm stoked for that, folks. I really am. So have a wonderful weekend. And in the meantime, you know the drill. Lucy says meow. I don't know where. I think she's probably taking a nap in the bedroom or something. But anyway, Lucy says meow. I say peace.